If you have SolidWorks Professional or Premium, you have the option of using the toolbox. The toolbox provides millions of hardware items that can be quickly added to your assembly. Let's take a look. Here's a part that we've got 4 holes in, and these could easily be created with a revolved cut, or we could use the hole wizard, which we'll be learning about in Chapter 13. And what we want to do is we want to add some hardware to this assembly. To do so, over here in the library, we've got the design library, and notice we've got the different blocks, and then you have this thing called the toolbox. And notice it says it's not quite added in yet. So we want to either click on this link here to add it in, or come up here to the top and say Tools, and at the very bottom of that, say Add-ins. This also gives us a way to add in a lot of different features in SolidWorks. We've got FeatureWorks, we got the 3D rendering package, which is PhotoView 360. We can use the motion, the routing, simulation. And then down here, we've got Toolbox. We want to turn that one on, as well as Toolbox Browser. And then if you want those items to show up automatically during startup, just click and turn them on over here. Once you're happy with that, click OK, and it adds that in. And then over here back in the library, now we've got the toolbox. And notice it gives you this little window that says Toolbox is currently installed on this computer. If you want to use it just for one user, it's fine. However, if you're working with a group of people, it's best to have Toolbox installed on a server or a community machine that everybody can access the same Toolbox files. So I'm going to click down here and look at some of the items that are available. Click on the inch folder. You can see there's bearings, there's bolts, there's screws, there's bushings, O-rings. You got a lot of neat things you can add in. So let's just take a look at bolts and screws for right now. And what type of screws or countersunk heads we want. And maybe we want a countersunk bolt. And once we grab that, we're just going to pull it out to the window and let go. As soon as we do that, it's going to ask us, how do we want to configure that bolt or that screw? Okay, so first is what size we want. We get all kinds of different sizes here, and I'm going to start with a 1/4-20. And what type of drive we want. So it's a slotted, that's fine. And how long do we want to have it? So I'm going to pick like 3/4 of an inch, and notice it changes on the fly for us. And come down a little bit further, and how do we want it to display? Do we want cosmetic threads that make it look a little fancier, or schematic to actually put the threads on? This might look nice to have that in there. However, it's going to add a lot more data to your model. So a lot of times you don't want to add all that extra weight to your model. So just maybe simplify. It's the easiest way to go. And then click on OK. And that's going to build that model. Notice it attaches to your tooltip. So now if I want to go place these, I can just click anywhere I want to place one. Or I can actually automatically mate these together. And if I hold down Tab, it'll actually flip it upside down. So I can change that mating orientation. And I can just drop it right in the hole. Same thing over here. Go over the hole, it just automatically will find a mate for you. Hold on Tab, it's going to lock into the hole, and click OK. So that's like easy to place hardware. And we can literally add millions of different styles and configurations of hardware to our model just that quickly. When you're done, hit Escape, and that turns that off. Now you got these holes in there, and you can see they've mounted in there. And then if we want to go and work with this part here, we can just use our standard mate techniques we've already used. Use the right mouse button, spin it around. We can click on Mate, grab the outside of that, grab the inside of this hole, mate those together, and then maybe bring that top of this screw here to the top of the part. Something like that's a really easy way to mate. So you can do it both ways. If we're using a lot of hardware in our design and we're sharing it on the server, that's great. But what if we want to send our design to somebody else, maybe a manufacturer, to build those parts? We want to make sure that that hardware is included with that assembly, because right now it's stored in a different location. So I'm going to go up here to File, Pack and Go. If I click on Pack and Go, it's going to go out and find all the items that are part of this assembly. This is a brand new assembly, so I haven't saved it yet. So we probably want to save it first. But it's called Assembly 2, and then it's made up of 11.8-1, and then this new countersunk bolt that we just found. And you can see where it is in the folder, its name, and then where it's being saved to. And then, a lot of other information here. And it's in this folder. You can go see where it's located at. So first off, this one hasn't been found because we haven't saved it out yet. So let's go ahead and do that before we go any further. So let's cancel this. Let's go File, Save As, and we're going to save it right here. And we're just going to call this one 11.8. And click on Save, and that's going to save that. Now we have 11.8 assembly. Now let's go back to the Pack and Go. Now you can see it's saved out correctly. And then in the folder, we can see where it is. So it's in Chapter 11. It's great. And then this one here is, notice it's in a different folder. So we want to make sure we have a folder that has all the items in one. So we can click here and find out which path we might be using for that. And you generally don't want to save it into the same folder you're already in. Choose a different folder to save it to, and then it's going to copy all those items and put it in that folder so you have a second copy of it. The other great thing you can do is click on Zip the file up. So if I want to take all those files and put it in a new folder and zip it up, this is the way to go. And by the way, that's also a great way. Just make a copy of your design at any one stage you're at. You can just make a zip copy, have everything in there, and then anytime you want to come back to an older version of your files, they're all in that zip file. It also makes it really easy to email out or put on an FTP server if you need to send a lot of files. A couple other things on the top here. If we have drawings, which we haven't covered yet, we can also include those. We can include simulation results as well as a few other things in that package. So it's a really great way to add everything up and make sure that there's nothing missed from that design. Once you're happy with it, click on Save, and we're good to go. Toolbox is a great way to quickly add hardware to an assembly. If you're working with others or sending the files to a manufacturer, make sure to use the Pack and Go wizard to pack those files up so they're in a nice zip file and all the files are included.